Are you ready for the golden age? The Quantum Galaxy Network presents Making Life Brighter on the Voice America Variety Channel, where we prepare you and the planet for the golden age. Making Life Brighter features experts in their field and visionaries sharing their unique keys for sustainability on Earth, including all cutting-edge healing modalities, consciousness training, and natural healing. Tune in every Thursday for valuable golden nuggets of universal harmony and coherency with body, mind, and spirit. Each week, Winifred introduces you to thought leaders, best-selling authors, influencers, and Grammy Award-winning musicians. Making Life Brighter is your source for inspiring us to live in cooperation and purpose as we prepare for the golden age and beyond. The Quantum Galaxy Network invites you to join Making Life Brighter as we prepare for the golden age. Making Life Brighter is your forum for healing, inspiring, and uplifting entertainment. Here is your host, Winifred Adams.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're going jolly out there today. My name is Winifred Adams, and I'm your host here at Making Life Brighter. And we welcome you back after this fantastic holiday weekend. How was that show last week with John Jubilee? Did you all get in on that show? That was awesome. I'm about to launch the outtake of that on my YouTube channel, so go ahead and follow along at Making Life Brighter on YouTube. And I will be launching several different things upcoming. We have so much in store for you this summer, and it's all the greatest technology. In fact, not only was John's information and show so compelling, I'm doing that program. And if you didn't catch that show, go to the archives here at Voice America Media, and you can find me on the Variety Channel under Making Life Brighter. And there you'll be able to see all the archives. So I invite you to go and see all the archives and check out the show with John Jubilee. Who is John Jubilee? He is a leading force in wellness and health, and he is bringing people's body systems back into alignment through cellular hydration. This is amazing because he's working with all kinds of people with all kinds of illnesses, and those people are actually seeing these amazing results. So I can't say enough to you about actually going and checking out this show. So go to the archives at Voice America Media and go to the Variety Channel. You'll find Making Life Brighter. And on Making Life Brighter, you'll get to hear this, okay? So find my page on Voice America Media, and we broadcast live here every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also, you can find me on my YouTube page at Making Life Brighter. So want to just share that with you and shout out the one and only John Jubilee. And he is literally making people's lives brighter, which is why I'm featuring him here, because he's got a really extensive but simple program. And this program is changing lives, and it's also changing my life. So I invite you to listen in, check it out. Later on today, I'm going to drop our special outtake that went with that show. And so here up in Idaho, we had an amazing 4th of July. It was cool. We got to see a spectacular fireworks show. The weather's been amazing, and thank God so far there's no fires near me, but there are a few in Washington at the border there, and this is fire season after all. Unfortunately, fire season has increased due to the lack of snow that we had this winter, and we're hoping for the best because we as a entire earth plane can't handle too much more in the way of depletion of water, and that's kind of piggybacking on what John's doing in a body. But truly, our systems are being affected and the water tables are being changed. But today we're going to focus on healing. We're going to focus on healing modalities. I got a great show in store for you today. So stay tuned because we're going to talk about Thoth. Do you know who Thoth is? He was the Egyptian, Atlantean god. And he was the one that also was instrumental in the Emerald Tablets. And so in Russia, there are some Egyptian pyramids that have been made, and I'm going to go into that. And in those pyramids are incubating some very special crystals. And those crystals are actually part and parcel of the healing rods that I've been using with people and that you can now get too. And you'll want to stay tuned to hear this because there's a super special on healing rods. You won't get them anywhere better or cheaper. So I'm going to share that with you later because I've been doing some extensive healings with people. I'll share that with you. And I want to shout out a special thank you to be able to put this show on for you every week. And so we want to shout out Black Law Manufacturing up in Edmonton, Alberta. And Black Law Manufacturing is instrumental in bringing forward the solution to heavy loads. So if you have a heavy load going through and you need to move those traffic lights, they have the solution. And that solution is going in all around the world right now. And if you and your community are having trouble, if you and your parade can't go on, you need the Black Law Swivel. So check it out, and you can find that Black Law Swivel at the blbp.ca. So blbp.ca, that is Black Law Manufacturing and BP Machine Limited, your drill motor solutions and your traffic light swivel right there. So thank you very much to Black Law Manufacturing, and they are out of our northern partner, Canada, Edmonton, Alberta. And so reach out to Black Law Manufacturing for drill motor solutions and to help your community be able to move those high loads without danger of people getting hurt or efficiency. A lot of people can't do that. You know, I found out as I've gone through this that they can't do that because of cost. But this is a solution to that cost in any township, anywhere across the world, whether it's ports, whether it's, places where there is something in the way. This is actually a really profound solution. So check that out. Now, John Jubilee is someone that we featured here last week on Making Life Brighter, and I'll be featuring on YouTube. You can follow along also on X at Winifred Adams. And John's solution to health is about hydration. And it's true because the electrical current cannot flow if you don't have the right component for the current. It's sort of like a withered flower needs water desperately. And as soon as you water that plant, now the plant jumps back up and is able to do its blooming again, and it'll take that back and it'll do it. Same with your body and your body systems. So in doing health and healing, I've been dealing with vaccine injuries. I've been dealing with really strange anomalies of healing. So I'm always looking for helpful solutions to hold steady some of the bigger psychic surgery work that I do. And John's program is a great adjunct to that. It's great for anyone, by the way. So you don't have to have an issue to do that. But it's really helpful in anyone's protocol where they need some healing. And so hydration is at the crux of everything. But what sits underneath that is the ability to move electrical current. And I want to get into that because I ended up spending time at this amazing conference. And it was a Tesla Energy conference. And I want to share that with you today because this is so important. The brightest minds were at this conference. Those that are moving the needle, there goes the eagle overhead, literally. Those that are moving the needle toward free energy and Tesla energy pumps, Tesla energy generators, all that, things that don't have a turbine even, just energy that is continuously going. So we studied for a week all these different people that came in, and the leading scientists, the leading physicists, those that are putting forth a combination of what science is telling us regarding Tesla technology and free energy and the science behind that free energy, but this time incorporating, which is so vital, a component of the spiritual source behind that, and explaining that coherency of the spirituality that's also part and parcel of the actual mechanism that makes it run. And that's new. The one thing that we've always seen is the scientist constantly in his lab thinking. Only he's missing the point. And for all of us that are spiritually, metaphysically minded or tied into a greater source, whether it's Christ energy or your own spiritual dominion source, whatever that is, by your practice that there is something greater out there. And that greater comes upon inspiration. And it was really nice to see that all these people, which will be featured upcoming here on Making Life Brighter, are working with that depth of spirituality at the same time that they're working in the science and the physics behind that. So bringing those two together into a coherent field has resulted in some products that I'm going to share with you. It also speaks to how the electrical current is actually working and optimized. So it's incorporating in some people's research and talks, taking the field of ether, the field of spirit, and drawing from that field and the source, coupled with your volition and or your intention, and working that into a coherency for healing. Now that's pretty cool. So I think we're getting somewhere finally. I'm so excited, and I was very, very honored to meet these people and get to sit among them. And the fellow that put this on, Aaron Murakami, he's amazing. And I'm very grateful to be able to have sat down with him, to interview him, to share his Tesla research and technology along with Jeremiah and all that they're doing for something that's never been done in the world yet. And that is coming, folks. We are right there. And unfortunately, we're probably going to need it. So whatever else is coming in the world, whether it's a pole shift or craziness in the political field that results in power outages or whatever, we may need this. And of course, it's perfect timing. So here we are in this space and time, and these guys are coming forward finally with the focus on spirituality coupled with science. And that is what the masters have always talked about. The science behind spirituality is in fact science. However, there is, as they know, the more advanced fellas know that there is a earned effect through that. So you don't get all the answers by sitting at your lab and kind of ho-humming in your brain. You have to earn that frequency, which opens the next step, which opens the next door. Now, on that note, with my Ascension Series class last night, and we're about to wrap that up, and it's been just life-altering, the class has. And I will be offering these classes again upcoming soon, so stay tuned because you'll want to get in on this. We're on the cutting edge of what is and how you got to that what is. Conscious awareness is being spoken of more and more today, but the masters know about conscious awareness in a manner that is experiential. It's not theoretical. And I want to bring to your attention another scientist that was not at this gathering, but someone that actually is featured on the Tony Robbins Network, and you can look that up. His name is Nassim Harriman. And Nassim has proven in his research that if the whole of the universe is 10 to the negative 55, and an atom, one single atom, has the potential of having 10 to the negative 93 in it, that means you, with all your atomic field within you, actually, he's proven in one atom of your body, you hold the entire universe in your body. Now think about that. The entire universe sits in your body. How do you connect with that is what we're looking at in the Ascension series. How do you dial into that? And what is the truth behind that? What is the fact of existence behind that? And we're going deep. We're looking at all kinds of different things, but showing the electrical current and measuring that is what I'm getting after here. And taking that electrical current and moving it into a space for use. So he actually developed some lab-grown crystals that are actually acting as free energy generators. Now, see, he's doing something over here. These guys are doing something over here with Tesla. It's coming. We're not waiting for it. It's here. It's a matter of optimizing this. And thank God, bless all these people, that the world has not taken them away from us, that we get to have this. But I think we've moved into a timeline now where that isn't going to happen anymore. So we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Making Life Brighter Radio, and we're going to talk healing tools, Egyptian healing rods, the pyramids of Thoth, and some of these coherent healing tools. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to Making Life Brighter Radio.
One man is growing old and one man is being told that.
Welcome back to Making Life Brighter with host and leading medical intuitive Winifred Adams on the Voice America Variety Channel, your preferred choice for conscious education and entertainment, featuring experts in their field and visionaries preparing the planet for the golden age and beyond. For more information, visit us at makinglifebrighter.com in the media section. Be sure to like us on Facebook at Making Life Brighter. If you have questions or comments, please email us at radio@makinglifebrighter.com. That's radio@makinglifebrighter.com. And now, back to the show with your host, Winifred Adams.
Good morning. We're back. You're listening to Making Life Brighter Radio, and I'm your host, Winifred Adams. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Follow along on YouTube at Making Life Brighter, and we will be dropping John's outtake today. That's super cool, and you'll definitely want to hear that. John Jubilee is a force of nature, I'm telling you. This is super cool. So back to our healing tools today. That's what we're focusing on here, and I want to jump right in. After having been at the Tesla Energy Seminar, which was from emediapress.com. That was awesome. I got to meet some great people and some very spiritually minded people. This was like coming home. It was like finding your tribe, right? So I was very happy. And it was not a psychic event. It was a science event and also a very spiritual event on top of that. And so I'm honored to have met some of the greatest minds in the world. And one of the results of that visit and the learning, when we were talking and learning about regenerative farming, we were learning about free energy from people like Eric Dollard and Justin Miller, and we were working with all kinds of science. We were just, the people that were featured on this were just so insane. And here it was in my backyard. I don't even know how that was possible, but it was. So coming out of that, I am holding one of the technology devices that I now use and incorporate in my practice of quantum healing and medical intuition. And everyone experienced this. And this is an example. It's called a Comra 980. And this is an example of using coherent field along with your volition or your intention with the two light energy fields. So red light therapy, blue light therapy, and another field of energy that incorporates and literally feeds back and works with you as you progress. So it literally reads the field, but helps to correct that which is dissonant within the field, out of balance, and bringing your volition, your intention into the actual healing. And it worked wonderfully for all kinds of people. So I took it and found the most effect of it on my third eye. And with the work that I do a lot, my body gets tired in my thyroid, for example. So I work with it there. So what I do is basically program it. You can see this. and I turn it on, and I don't know if you can see those different colored lights, but there's blue and there's red and there's yellow. Yellow being the kind of in-between bridge of that. Kind of interesting, because when I work with people with the central sun and all the hieroglyphs, there is a yellow bridge. It's golden. And so I do the golden bridge healing therapies. But this is bringing into, this kind of thing would be in your doctor's office someday, or in every household someday. And what you do is you take it and you place it directly where you want it. So in this case, I tested it on my third eye, and I could feel it on my third eye, and I subsequently could feel it through my whole body. And that's not the only place. You would put it directly where you might feel an issue. So put it to my thyroid, I can feel that. And what happens is you set your intention with this device, and it begins to work with your field of energy and correcting the energy signature in your field. At the same time, it's working with your volition. So how does that work? How does it know your volition? Well, when you set the intention of your field, they've actually been able to measure how the light is responding to the intention within the field. And taking that, and then you can place it on anywhere in your body, like you have a shoulder issue or whatever. You can place it anywhere and you work with it. And you can feel it. You can feel the relief. Sometimes the pain has gone away for some people. Where people had trouble for years, they don't have it so much anymore. This is the technology and wave of the future. Okay? This is where it's going. We will soon see the ability to have cars without batteries, have free energy in your home, and you never have to have this. We don't have to have the sparks for the wildfires, which is what I was alluding to earlier. We can operate in a safer way, but also a regenerative way, pulling from some of the ether and spirit intention, your volition through your body, which if Nassim Haramein's work is correct, then all of the universe, the power of all of the universe sits within one atom in your body. Now, if you optimize that and refocus all of your fractals, which he talked about, and this is something I've readily talked about over the years, pulling in the energy particles to align spiritually. You can't get through the eye of the needle without that. There will be no way through. You can't be fragmented, judgmental, have hatred in your heart, or otherwise be unconscious. You must have conscious awareness. And what was so cool about this seminar is everyone had conscious awareness. That wasn't in question. How they optimize it is another story, but they all had conscious awareness. It was beautiful to witness. And what was cool also is we got to see that Tesla pump shoot out water literally across the street. Free energy working. No battery, no backup, no nothing. Just a pump that took the water and put it out across literally like a fire hose. It was amazing. So we're there. We are there. We're not waiting for there. We're waiting for it so that you out there can use it and have access to it. So anyway, this is a particular device that is an example of red light, blue light therapy, and the combination of the coherent field, the acknowledgement of the coherency in the atomic field, and looking at that, weighing on that, and then taking that back in and weaving that into the structure for correction. And so healing through hands and those that are working with healing and godlight energy, some would call it scalar, but the highest coherent field of energy can then take and restructure atomic particles into what it is. So that's what I do in my work, is I take that incoherency and turn it into a coherent field. And that can happen in layers, it can happen in an organ, and it can happen in an organ system all at once. But for people that are just looking for a tool to do that, you could have a healing at that level and then follow up with a tool like this. you could start out by correcting the signatures in the body and use a tool like this. And so that's super, super cool. And we'll come through that a little bit more. I'm also going to have the fella that has done the science and the research behind that field. And he also has a spiritual perspective that is so powerful you need to hear it. So I'm looking forward to having him on the show in just the next few weeks. So I'm excited about that. Now, moving into electrical current and talking about that electrical current, I sort of hit on and touched on the rods a couple weeks ago, and I want to touch on it again, and I will continue to touch on it because right now you can get these rods for a super discount. Like, you will never see this again. I'm not joking you. This is kind of a one-time offer. It takes about 3 weeks to have these made and to make these rods. I'll tell you why, because they're actually manufactured, handmade, over in Russia. And they built a pyramid over there. They have several, actually. And there's been scientists both in the Ukraine and Russia that are studying all this. And they use the healing rods back in the Egyptian times, and you can see it in their hieroglyphs. Those Egyptian healing rods are tuning forks, essentially. So when they had the Ankh was used as sound healing. It was a very special sound healing tool. And I'm missing my Ankh. The first piece of jewelry I ever made was a beautiful sterling silver Ankh, and it walked out the door. But I'll make another one, I guess. And so these rods are actually, can you see the cross on them? They are shaped with an Ankh on them, and both copper and zinc, but filled with crystals. And the crystals are charged in the pyramids that they make these in. And they are charged for about 2 weeks' time. And when they are charged, they are super powerful. In the coherent field of that pyramid, which is basically a transducer, it's a energy source, and the flow through helps to charge the crystals. Then they're handmade and they're specifically put together. Then they studied these rods after they put them together in scientific studies of how they worked on the body. And the rods actually help different body systems to heal. Part of it is the conductivity. And just like the Comra device, there's an interface into the coherent field of you and your biology along with your volition. The Egyptian healing rods actually remember the frequency of you and tune in again. And when people pick them up, they're having such a profound effect. They work for circulatory healing. They work for any kind of illness that you might have. They're having all kinds of successes using these. And I'm having successes using these. And it's really fun. I had a session with a fellow the other day, and he was aware of it. He had a set of meteorite rods, which was pretty cool, and they're sort of rare. And so I used mine, he used his, and I conducted the healing with him at that time. And that entity, Thoth, came along and just brought in so much powerful energy for him. It was astounding what happened to the man. He said, I've never had an experience like that before. And it's true. The conductivity, which is what I'm getting at, that conductivity is working, and it's working in relation to all the different coherent fields and spiritual dimensional fields that also lead back into the coherent field of the physical biological body. So I've been working with these now just as an extra tool and kind of fun stuff to do with people, because each one of the rods has a different frequency based on the crystals that are in them. And the crystals are supercharged, so it takes about 2 weeks to charge these crystals over there in these pyramids. And then when you get it back, or you receive it, it is powerful. And then you can set them down. You use them for like 10 minutes, maybe 20 at the most. And you pick them back up again. You can meditate with them. I mean, this is the simplest thing in the world. There has not been a single person I've worked with that hasn't felt the energy of these. Therefore, they are easy tools that you can carry with you, take with you, put in your purse, travel with, and you can use these to recharge. And you are basically tuning into that coherent field of that Thoth pyramid over in Russia. It's amazing. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get into these more specifically, like what rods are good for what and why would we use them. And so I want to help you with that because, yes, there is a super sale of rods going on right now, and they are literally more than half off. You won't see this again. So if you want a pair, reach out, makinglifebrighter@yahoo.com, and we can get you set up. So makinglifebrighter@yahoo.com, and ask in the subject line Egyptian healing rods, and we'll get back to you on that because I can help muscle test you to find out exactly what's best for you and what you would need, because people that are beginners would need one set and people that are more advanced would need a different one. Otherwise, the energy can be overwhelming. But it's specific and it's cool. Anyway, we'll be right back. You're listening to Making Life Brighter. Don't go anywhere. We've got more right here. Thank you.
One man is growing old and one man is being told that
You are listening to Making Life Brighter, a presentation by the Quantum Galaxy Network for the Variety Channel on Voice America, featuring visionaries, thought leaders, and consciousness experts leading the way as we prepare the planet for the golden age and beyond. Right here on Making Life Brighter Radio with your host, leading medical intuitive Winifred Adams. Be sure to download the app. For more information, go to makinglifebrighter.com under Media. Now, back to the show with your host, Winifred Adams.
All right, we're back. You're listening to Making Life Brighter, and today we're talking healing modality tools, and specifically the Egyptian healing rods. So we have some right here, and I use these every day. These are so cool. So we have a copper rod and a zinc rod, but they have crystals in them. And I want to go through some of these to help people understand what it is that they would use and why. So I brought these to the conference, and, you know, these are advanced people here that have a lot of knowledge about conductivity under their belt. They understand that languaging. Other people are more spiritually minded and understand it from a different perspective of the metaphysical flow through, and others that are more religious in it understand from the word of God coming through them and so on. And it's all one and the same. It's all one and the same conductivity. The interesting part is they're understanding that volition, your intention, has a direct interface into your ability to heal and to move forward. So what gets in the way of that? And that's something that I work with on a regular basis. What is in the way of the healing? Where are we in the way of the coherent nature and flow? Because it's all about flow. Where there's a backup, there's no flow. Where there's toxicity, it impedes the flow. It also degrades the cell. And the healing rods are a passive way to help you not only increase the flow, but increase the flow in your own circuit, as well as tap into a greater flow through the ether in real time, instantaneously, back to this pyramid structure that the Thoth Atlantean, I'll call it master, wrote down the tenets of the dark and the light, and on the emerald tablets spelled out basically what all master souls know. And we've been studying that in the Ascension series and going in depth on those tablets. Well, is it not ironic and just sort of serendipitous that these particular superconductor rods are being charged in that Thoth pyramid? And I've always had understanding of Atlantis and the ancient civilization of Lemuria. I've lived in both. I remember that. I have understanding of the Lemurian society being one of more education and healing and using free technology, free energy to work with the true field of coherent energy, like I shared on this show before. And we talked to Charmaine Redwood, and she talked about the coherent field in her book of Lemuria, and how even people back then wouldn't have a child unless they actually came together and co-created that child, literally co-created it, not necessarily sexually, co-created it through energy. And that was a thing back then. Sacredness was all they had. Then that civilization died, and the Great Flood came or wiped them out. Then Atlantis came along, and now we are mimicking Atlantis all over again. We're right at that cusp of, say, how AI could destroy us or help us. And are we moving closer to our spirit in that experiment or not? And if we get it wrong this time, we probably will fall away just like Atlantis did. But if we don't, and we get it correct this time, which is why I know I've come back here, I'm here in this capacity as a healer and beyond to help anchor in truth and help those souls that need to line up to anchor in, because the more of us that are aware, awake, and ready and capable of running high frequency energy through our system in a divine manner, we are growing the capacity of the divinity on the earth plane. So these tools are really more about how you increase your conductivity and optimize yourself so that you can be a fit vehicle for the highest frequencies to come through and actually land into your system and radiate out from you. And you are thereby contributing to the positive effect of this civilization at this time in history. And since we are about to take that shift and the end of the Kali Yuga age is over, we're coming into the golden age, but the Aquarian age. And what that means is we're also ripe for a pole shift. And if we do have a big electrical grid blowout, or we do go back to the Stone Age of sorts with a pole shift, we will need the knowledge that these things bring forth, or the ability to be healthy and clear enough to impart inspiration in real time. If we don't take that now, we could find ourselves in a little bit of a pickle because we're spoiled. We've had all these great modern conveniences, but trust me, when the lights go out, game on. So here is a tool that whether the lights go out or not, you can always have. You can always have. And these tools are so powerful. So you would put the copper one in your right hand, the zinc one in your left hand. And not all rods are made equal, just so you know. I'm very clear on that. I go searching for the best of the best because you waste your time with cheap stuff that doesn't make any difference. Now, these are very powerfully charged. So, the ones that I have in my hand are called Star Consciousness. And those are for more spiritually minded people. They're for people that have been meditating, they have a handle on their higher self, they've had experience with their higher self, and that just, it brings them forward and moves them into a space of greater spiritual coherency in and out of their body. So it's not for beginners. However, I'm going to share with you some of the others that are definitely in coherence with the people. Like I start out people with what's called quartz 2 rods if they're new, because that's really very strong for the energy healing. and they can feel it immediately. Every single person has felt that, and it's kind of like a staple for a healer to have on hand. This is great, and they work very, very coherently with the field. No matter what the issue, people immediately feel relief with those quartz rods, and that's super cool. Now there's other rods because you can put different crystals in different rods. So for example, there's rose quartz rods, and if you are very tense all the time, you have anxiety issues, you have trouble with calming down, you're not able to quiet down very easily, that would be a great set for someone to come into heart coherence. And you can see I have my little heart pin on right there, my open-hearted pin I wear every day. The heart coherence is paramount because the heart speaks to the oversoul, and then the oversoul speaks to the spirit. Now, that is a scientific fact, and they found that the heart is 10,000 times more powerful than your mind. And so that begs the question, why would we listen to the computer upstairs instead of listening to our heart? So it begs the need and the necessity to come into coherent understanding with the heart chakra and the wisdom of the open heart. Therefore, people having that wisdom of the open heart are more apt to have the right decisions and have the right information when they need it. And they are more available to being divinely inspired as needed as well. And those are the people I'd want to follow. Anyone else, I'm not really following off that cliff. I don't know about you, but I don't do that. So being in coherence with your own spirit is the name of the game from this point forward. And so rods like the rose quartz rods would be great. Crystal quartz 2 rods would be amazing for people. The amber rods have a tremendous effect on healing. And they may not be for the first time out the door, but you would definitely work with them as you go along. The amber rods restore vital force in the body, and they stimulate healing throughout the body. In only like 15 minutes of using these, you can feel your spine improve and the pulsation in the sacrum. You can feel the kundalini energy moving in the body, but it balances the energies in both hemispheres of the brain. So that is super important. It works with the head. It's for third eye. It helps to calm, and it helps the mind calm. So these are good for like meditation, channeling, remote viewing, spiritual exercises, as well as glandular endocrine healing, respiratory healing, colon and bowel healing, gallbladder, intestines, liver. There's so much more. So I want to share with you the real profound effect, and some of the ones that I really love right now, because we're moving out of, in this new age, we're moving out of the masculine and into the feminine. So the Trinity, female and male rods, are super important for men and women because they have a balancing effect. So the Russian scientists figured out in literally testing people that the Trinity female align the mind, they align the left margin of the head, and it affects the cerebellum. It also affects the heart chakra and stimulates the endocrine glands. And so the production of female hormones, which is vastly out of balance today due to all of our products we use, as well as our food chain, the pollution, etc., and everybody's drugs in the water table. That's another problem. So it's affecting males and females in their hormonal balance. But these rods help pull that back together, and they move energy from the bottom up. And this creates kind of a transmitting effect from the blood, the heart, the circulatory. Equally, there's male rods for the men, and that works also in, they found these are great for the throat chakra, speaking your truth, hormonal stagnation. So a lot of guys are having that today, if you know what I mean. And they're having a little bit of overdose with the soy content and things, so it's causing a lot of erectile dysfunction and so on, and prostate issues. Technically, if you think about it, healing is flow. If there's no flow, or the hormone receptor is not working properly, that message is not going to get to where it needs to go. So this draws in like an indigo color through the third eye for males and helps them balance and channel from the top down, which is really interesting. It puts them in balance. But there's lots of these, and they are truly magnificent. And so I can help people figure out what they need. I can help test you to see what would be good for you and which ones would be appropriate. But you will not see that cheaper anywhere. So I recommend reaching out at makinglifebrighter@yahoo.com. We can set that up and you can get in on this special sale if you want them. They would be amazing gifts to give somebody, and a Christmas present even. It's early, Christmas in July, right? But they are very powerful. So when you hold them, you can immediately feel the coherent field, right? You can feel that. You can feel the energy kind of moving around in a fashion because they're tapping into that coherent field of the pyramid. And so the emerald tablets hold the truths of existence. They hold the struggle of man written down on them. And Thoth the Atlantean had come to help people by example in holding those truths and that which is sacred. And now that energy is being channeled back through these pyramids in Russia. And the scientists are finding through scientific research how this is affecting people's well-being. And the fact that it expands their consciousness and helps their consciousness come back into a greater alignment with their spirit. So it can be even out to the stars and back, depending on what you tap into. And what I saw happen the other day with that fellow was it shook his whole body. It just moved him like he couldn't even, there was nothing he could do to stop that from happening. It was a whole visceral reaction and shift to the energy frequency. It was amazing. He said he had never felt so aligned in his life. So that's super cool. Anyway, we'll be right back. We've got one more segment of healing modalities here on Making Life Brighter, and stay tuned. We will be talking more on coherency and healing, quantum healing, right here on Making Life Brighter. Take care. We'll be right back. Give us just a minute.
Welcome back. For more information, please visit us at makinglifebrighter.com. If you'd like more information on intuitive coaching, coursework, or to book an appointment with medical intuitive Winifred Adams, please email us at radio@makinglifebrighter.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook and download the app. Go to makinglifebrighter.com for more information. And now, back to the show with your host, Winifred Adams.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening and thank you for being here today. I have been sharing with you the Egyptian healing rods, and you can get yours by reaching out to me at makinglifebrighter@yahoo.com. We'll find out what's best for you, and these specific ones are handmade. They're tested. They are incubated for up to 2 weeks. So it takes about 3 weeks to a month to get them. And I'm doing a special order right now at a super sale discount. And at that price, you could literally afford two sets of these. They are amazing, and they feel different set to set. So they do different things for the body. I would like to bring your attention to that which I have on today. Can you see that? I always get confused because it's backwards. There we go. You can see it. I have on today, in homage to the white buffalo turquoise. And we're always talking about crystals here, and we've done some shows on crystals here. But the white buffalo and the white buffalo turquoise is specific. They always said in ancient tradition that when the white buffalo appears in a herd, it's the time of a great awakening. And it's the turning point for great awakening and change in the world. And so I'm putting extra focus to white buffalo turquoise, especially now, and turquoise in general. I have all of it on. And all of the energy of turquoise is one of the most sacred. And the Indians and indigenous tribes knew this. They knew these ancient secrets of these particular stones. The reason being that they can't be alchemized. They can't be distilled down. So pure blue turquoise, bluish green turquoise being one of those. And the other, coral, is also one of those. So if you take it apart, so to speak, it is 100% that. It's not this element and then that element. It is actually something that holds a divine frequency and amplifies that frequency, which is why Native Americans use these so readily and created it as part of their headdress and things. Now, interestingly enough, in Europe, they chose semi-precious stones, and more so over diamonds. So semi-precious stones such as moldavite used in the Holy Grail. And they think it's emerald, but it was really moldavite. Moldavite coming from one place in the world, which is Czechoslovakia. And that is an accelerant to consciousness. No mistake there, because the Holy Grail, the chalice, is the lifeblood of the power of God in one chalice. And that is symbolic, technically, on Earth, even though they're looking for it, like in the Indiana Jones movies, and they're searching for, where is the chalice? Well, it's the codes of the Grail. When I do healing work, I'm using the Grail codes. I'm using the actual mathematical interface for the shift of atomic particles. And things like these stones help hold frequency, not only to the biofield of the healer, but the biofield in the room and the vortex, which I work out of, for people and their well-being. So putting emphasis on the actual frequency that comes through and is held in these structures, in these crystalline structures, similar to Nassim Harriman's work using the lab-created crystals that are able to hold frequency. And he did a study that he talked about where he put tomatoes on a plate, and he had 2 plates. One plate was given no water or his crystals at all, and they shriveled up and became a raisin and basically just dehydrated. Going back to what John was saying, that it's all about hydration, right? The life force stays in you with hydration. So then Nassim's other plate, which is really fascinating, had the crystals that he created in the center of the plate. And with that, for a whole year, those tomatoes stayed 90% full of water. That's how powerful the conductivity is of pure and true crystalline energy. And that energy on the right fingers and the right hands goes up meridians of the body. So it's not random. And where an immature person would say, oh, that person's wearing all that jewelry, they don't understand because they can't see it. They don't see that there's a meridian balance going on. There's a purposeful need for conductivity in that arena that's leading to organ systems. So when I started out doing healing work, I actually started by making jewelry and doing this. And I would make jewelry for people sight unseen. And I would not know anything about them, but intuitively pick up what they needed and then create that meridian for them. And then they would begin to collect it. So in this case, I'm focusing and bringing your attention to white buffalo, the sacredness of it. And we have seen some white buffalo. So the white buffalo time is coming, and that brings forth another era for us. And I want to read to you a little bit about the white buffalo and what it means. So the name white buffalo evokes the sacred symbolism of the white buffalo in Native American tradition, which is a signal of spiritual promise, divine guidance, and miraculous occurrences. The white buffalo itself is an extremely rare and revered sign among many Plains tribes, particularly Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota peoples. The appearance of the white buffalo calf is considered a divine omen and symbolizes hope, peace, abundance, and the fulfillment of prophecy. It is said to signal a time of spiritual renewal and a reminder of humanity's sacred connection to the earth and the Great Spirit. The white buffalo calf woman, a central figure in Lakota tradition, is a holy messenger who brought the people the sacred pipe and taught them rituals and prayers and the importance of living in balance with all things. This connection adds layers of mysticism and reverence to the gem, making it a cherished talisman for anyone seeking purity, clarity, and a deeper connection to spirit. The white buffalo forms in arid, rich mineral environments where calcium and carbonate deposits undergo specific geological conditions over time, and often near volcanic activity. Its most famous and singular locality in the southwestern United States, particularly in Nevada, near Tonopah. And it is exclusively from the Dry Creek mine, which adds to its rarity and allure. And the deposits have produced material that have been very, very, very beautiful. So white buffalo is a stone of sacred serenity and divine connection, known for its deep healing metaphysical properties that whisper to the soul like ancient wisdom carried on the wind. Often called the stone of sacred truth, white buffalo resonates with pure light energy that clears emotional fog and illuminates the path to your higher purpose. Its energy feels like a soft blanket of snow, calming the spirit while awakening a profound sense of inner stillness and spiritual awareness. This gem gently activates the crown chakra, opening the gateway to divine insight, intuitive knowing, and the connection to the universe. And it goes on from there. This is such a powerful stone, but I bring it to your attention because the focus that's on it now has quite a bit to do with that white buffalo energy coming forth in this next time. And with the 250-year celebration just the other day, and I guess if you're in the quantum, you could say 251, but with the 250-year celebration, it was a marker of time. And with the solstice coming along this year in particular, it's a marker of time. And this mark of time is a turning point. It's a shift. Just like we had the harmonic convergence, just like we had that which was moving us into a space of unity instead of diverse polarity, people are going to have the opportunity to choose now. And that choice will be inherently guiding them to the light or coming along into a space of divesting from the light completely and moving into another time frame. So we literally might see that split in time coming now, and holding with the frequency of divine sacred stones helps you hold the frequency of your higher self. So for example, if you charged yourself with your rods or even worked in your healing with your devices, or had a healing, a quantum healing, and then continue to wear your divine stones, what would happen is you would be charging them along with the other things, and that holds frequency for you throughout the day. So we'll be talking more about the sacredness of stones upcoming this year, and I want to again share with you, we'll be doing the Ascension series again soon, so if you're interested in that, reach out to me because it is life-altering. It's the words from the Master Saints coming through and talking about the truths like Thoth talked about the Emerald Tablets. It's talking about the origin of consciousness and how we tap into that field. It's very important. So that and some more courses, we're going to be doing a lot here. And we're going to feature some of these amazing minds that have graced us with their technological acumen and hopefully soon free energy. So go check out John Jubilee's show last week on the archives. Check out on YouTube the outtake I'm going to drop tonight with John, and many more. Stay tuned, everybody. It's been a pleasure and a blessing getting to be with you again here, and we're rolling through the summer at Mach speed. So if you're interested, go to makinglifebrighter@yahoo.com and email me, and I will help you. And you too can get in on this. It is a frequency shift, and it's happening right now. Go out and make somebody else's life brighter, and as I always say, go jolly. Thank you for listening. Have a great week. We'll see you next week right here on Making Life Brighter.
Thank you for listening to Making Life Brighter with Winifred Adams. Be sure to join us every Thursday at 10 a.m. on the Variety Channel on Voice America for quantum healing information, education, and inspiration with thought leaders and experts preparing us and the planet for the Golden Age and beyond. Go jolly!